So yeah, it's really interesting to talk with you today, David, in the week that we're having here in the States, in the United States.
Yeah, it's a weird week. It's a very weird week.
And what I wanted to tell you was it was funny. It's all coming in different like waves. Like I was so hungry all week. I wanted to like eat the worst food just to like feel better. And then today, as Friday, I'm like not hungry at all. Now I'm just like, don't give me any food. I don't want any food. Yeah, it's been an interesting time. I'm so happy to talk to you during this time.
No, thank you for having me. I find it so hard to take my eyes off the phone or the screen, just like looking for like updates. It's crazy, but
I
yeah,
know.
it's an odd time to be talking about a film, but here we are.
I know. Honestly, Dating Amber is a great film to just get people out of this toxic negative mindset that we have going on right now. It's such a great, happy, well, you know what I like,
Yeah,
positive, get you
no,
in.
absolutely. I mean, I think it's a good time for just a really good warm comedy, and I think that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to make. It's a very heartwarming. I mean, for me, it's a romantic comedy, but it's platonic love, but it's this big
Hmm.
love story between these two kids, and yeah, it's very funny, and I think it's kind of what people need right now because we're
Yeah. Do you remember the relationship in the Imitation Game between Keira Knightley and Benedict Cumberbatch?
yeah,
It feels like John Hughes came in and decided to make a rom-com on that relationship, and we got something even better than any of that.
yeah, no, it was there. I mean, I think there's been some great historical beards. And
Yes.
it's so funny. We get so many messages now for people who've seen it because it's been out for a while in
Mm.
Ireland and the UK, and so many queer people who are older. Like, oh my God, I had a beard in school. Oh my God, that's my story, and that's so lovely to hear that it's kind of connected in that way with people. Yeah, I think it's a story as old as time. Uh,
Well, I'm happy that you're trying to bring this out to public. It's a story as old as time. I think people think of Romeo and Juliet and go, well, that is as old as time. And it's like, no, beards had
beard.
been going on probably longer than that play was written.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think, and it's such an odd. The idea of a beard is such an unusual thing, but it's such a intensely trusting relationship. There's
Mm,
something profoundly deep in it. I mean, it's based on a lie, but at the heart of it's something very truthful. And I'm not advocating it, but it's a story that deserves to be kind of told. And I think for these two kids, Eddie and Amber, and Dating Amber, it becomes such a meaningful thing, and it kind of becomes they are each other's first love in
mhm.
that way.
When we reviewed the film as the podcast, we did a little mini episode about how we felt with the film, and I brought up a story about, yes, I had a friend growing up. Her name was Mary Brett, and we used to always say bye bye because we thought we were bisexual because we couldn't go the full length. So it was like an in joke that we had, and this film just opened that up to me. I was like, oh my God, like those relationships are so important. They were,
Yeah, and I think you can lose contact with those people over years, but
Oh
then you go
yes,
back to them, and it's like time has never passed, and it's just
oh yes, exactly.
they are the people that kind of helped shape the person you're going to become, and I think sometimes we don't realize the power they had and the impact they had on us.
Was there a beard in your life?
So the film is pretty autobiographical in that I grew up where the town is set, and that was fireworks, not an explosion. I grew up where the town was set, and I really struggled in coming out. And I
Mhm.
had a friend who was a lesbian in school, and it was later on we were like, she came out later on as well, and later on we're like, it would have been so easy if we just pretended to go out and saved ourselves so much abuse. So that was the beginning of it. So we weren't beards in school, but kind of it was in hindsight we thought that would have been so easy for us.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was the starting point for it.
And this person, did they happen to see the film, or
Yeah, I think they have, and they're very happy with it. I mean, it's not them. They're not Amber, so it's not like they're like, oh my God, that's me. It's but it's a sense of it. But so many
Mhm.
people from my town think, like, some of my friends that I'm still friendly with from school are like, am I that character? Am I am I the dickhead? Like, no, that's not you. It's a bit of you, but yeah. So it's been nice.
Right. And outside of your other work, I haven't been able to catch anything other than The Cured because that was on Hulu. I really it's okay with the fireworks, but what's going on over there?
I can't say it's Guy Fawkes night in the UK, so
Oh,
they go crazy with fireworks. I can't stop them. So yeah, just ignore it.
why don't you? I mean, I'm interested. I don't know much about that. Maybe our viewers would like to know more about. Like, it's just a quick, yeah. Like, so what is that?
I don't. It's basically it's to celebrate the basically when they thwarted the gunpowder bombing of the Tower of London, and
Okay.
now to celebrate that they just explode things. So it's a very English thing. It's very weird.
That's fun. This is such a celebratory
It's not.
moment
It's
then.
not fun when you have two dogs that don't like fireworks. So
Oh.
my boyfriend is in the other room just trying to keep the dogs from barking at the moment.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, so what I was going to say was I happened to catch The Cured, and I really enjoyed that, especially just getting out of October. I mean, that was perfect for
Yeah.
October. I loved, and your previous film also didn't seem too much like Dating Amber. What brought this change of something so, as you say, close to home?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's a very different film. It's a total
Hmm.
180 in terms of like theme or well, tone. But I think
Tone, yeah.
Cured is about struggling with an inner monster, and I made it at a time in my life when I was angrier about the things I'd gone through, and I don't think I could have told a funny version of that story. But it does feel like the other side of the same coin. I think just the Dating Amber is with distance and hindsight, I can see the warmth and the humor that existed at the time, as well as pain and struggling and awkwardness that we all suffer as teenagers. So yeah,
Hmm.
so I think it's a very different film, but I think there's a lot in common as well.
Seems like they agree.
Yeah, it's just insane. Sorry.
Yeah, with The Cured, I can see what you mean by that. There is this sense of a same coin, different sides of a coin. Because with the Dating Amber, there's hope. There's so much hope and optimism, which is something that I know I'm constantly searching for. I know a lot of queer viewers are searching for, and The Cured was that nice other side of it, where it's
Yeah,
that like
absolutely.
struggle.
Yeah, I mean, and I think for me, I guess growing up, I when I saw myself on screen, it was often very, it was often very depressing and sad, and I think
We could
that's
wait. We could wait a second,
yeah,
and
let's take
we
it.
could
Let's
wait
take a
a
dramatic
second.
pause.
There'll probably be a pause again soon.
Um, but
Keep that thought.
but yeah, that's my direct neighbor who's just an absolute arsehole.
Oh, really?
Well, he's not like. I mean, he's got a dog, so like, why would you have a dog? You hate your own dog. Um,
Yeah, I have a
so,
dog. I'm like that too with her.
um, but um, but yeah, it was that thing of when I was young, when I saw gay characters, it was often very depressing. They were suffering with AIDS or being beaten up, and those are really valid and vital and need to be told, those stories. But I was longing to see a really hopeful, funny film, a comedy with kind of gay characters, and there were so few of them. I think the first one I ever saw was "But I'm a Cheerleader," which I loved.
Right,
Amazing, but like
right.
that was like it was like finding a needle in a haystack, and I really wanted to make that film. I guess I wished I wanted as a kid, that like a super bad with gay leads. Like, so it's a really funny, awkward film, but with these two gay leads, and also like a film that which it's not a gay film or a lesbian film. Like, we don't exist in these hermetically sealed boxes. Like, we exist in
Right.
the same world and we are friends. So yeah, that was important to me as well.
That's what I liked about the film is, yes, I like that it's not like over the head. This is what, I mean, I do enjoy your play on stereotypes. You do like to show them in broad daylight, which is, some people like to argue, oh, but it's good to look at them because they're there. And
Yeah.
from someone who is an actual queer filmmaker, it's good to see something like you show it instead of a straight person showing
Yeah,
it.
and I think I think we all every character in the film is a stereotype, and I think the
Mm,
stereotype gets, whether you're the military father or the bully, and those stereotypes in the film get um kind of subverted. None of them are like as they seem, and you have this gay kid trying to act what he thinks is masculine, and vice versa. But all of that's an act. It's all a performance, and I think it doesn't matter. I think the root of the film is toxic masculinity is shit, and it makes everything worse. And it's the root of not just the problems for the queer community, but many of the problems for the straight community as well, whether it be Eddie's dad in the film or the other boys in school. Like, everyone suffers with it, and it makes you so repressed no matter who you are. It's just, so I think you have to play with those stereotypes, and you have to kind of show them. And also there's nothing wrong with being camp or being whatever. These things are right. And I always hate this idea that you can't celebrate that as much as you have to be a straight.
Why is that? Why do you think like camp is always like shown in this two-side way? I see camp as, yes, like, give me more camp. We don't have enough camp.
I know. I think we got so used to presenting a straight, respectable side of the queer community to become accepted, and then that became the way of doing it. And then there's this kind of thing of, well, you don't have to be camp to be gay, and of course you don't at all.
Right.
You can be however you want to be, but then I think then suddenly the bad side of that is suddenly presenting a camp person felt like you're being insulting or denigrating to the queer community, and that's horrible, because so many amazing, fabulous gay people are camp, and they should be allowed to be camp and be as camp as they want to be. So I think you need to just embrace all those different facets, and you should never shy away from it. Or as a filmmaker, I never try and second guess how an audience is going to take that kind of character or these characters, because F them. Like, it's none of
right.
if they I think so long as you're dealing all your characters with love and respect, if it's not about what a straight critic or a straight viewer thinks is an acceptable version of gay. Or I always hate it when you have a straight person say, there's something, it was a stereotype to have that character be camp. Why does he have to be camp? Because he's gay. It's like, because a lot of gay people are camp, and they're allowed to be camp, and you don't tell them that they can't be camp. So I just get in these, like, it becomes a really weird thing. But I think ultimately you have to try and just ignore all those things, and just celebrate the variety and magic of the community. And I think that includes camp.
I totally agree. Now, when making Dating Amber, was COVID happening, or you finished that before COVID?
Yeah, no, we finished that. So we shot it last summer. So we finished it in like September, and then went straight into the edit. And so we finished we finished post-production just before the first lockdown hit the UK.
Oh wow, that's luck. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were doing the post-production in Belgium. So we were going back and forth. So we just finished it on time, and we got really lucky because I have friends whose productions got delayed or shut down because of COVID.
Oh yes, right.
I feel so fortunate that we kind of managed to finish it all on time. And then I guess the big question was, well, what now? It's COVID. Like, how do we? There's not going to be film festivals in the way there were. It's going to be virtual, or how do we get it out into the world? And that was the next thing. Is like, we got it done. Now what?
Right.
Do we wait a year, in which case it will feel old, or and then we got really lucky that in the UK, Amazon Prime made it an original, and then in the US, Golden Films are putting it out in iTunes and Fandango and everything next week on the 10th. And so we managed to find an audience in this incredible situation, and in a very weird way, it ended up being such a blessing for us, because in the UK and Ireland, we've just developed this massive fan base of people. Like the actors in particular are getting inundated daily with fan art and fan videos and messages, and it's really sweet. And I think just in the time it came out on this side of the water, I think it was just what people needed. You know, I think people were shut at home.
Exactly.
They were depressed.
Right.
And there was this very funny, heartwarming film they could watch at home and laugh. And
relatable, you know. I mean, like, the moment I finished it, I sent it to my mom, and I'm just like, I think you're gonna like this film. You know, it's just, you know, anyone can watch this film and relate. You don't have to be
yeah,
queer and
no,
relate to the film.
yeah. And I think what's been really nice for me is actually a lot of the people that have been reaching out to me are not just queer people, but actually parents of queer people, because they've really identified with the characters of Sharon Horgan's character, Hannah, and the dad, Barry Ward, and the other mother played by Simone Curry, who's incredible. And I think just the struggles they have and how they navigate, you know, raising their kids, and when they suspect their kids might be gay, or how they react when their kid comes out, like those things are difficult for parents to know how to deal with. And, you know, even when they're trying to do the right thing and be supportive, how do you do that when your child hasn't yet come out to you? And so I think it's been really heartwarming to see how it has kind of gone beyond, I guess, the queer base audience, and people have just really enjoyed it. And for me, because a lot of my friends from school are straight, but it's given them a real insight into what school is like for me, and they've really understood it and enjoyed it and appreciated it. And I think, it's been a very lovely experience.
Yes, and that's great. I'm so happy that it's getting the response it definitely needs. There's just been so much uncertainty and anger, like, right, like as we've been saying. So this film has been that nice kind of like buoy out of darkness.
Yeah, yeah.
So in terms of, right, so showcasing this film during COVID, you're finding some good successes with it. Where are we going to catch it on the 10th? I wanted to hear that again. You mentioned
Yeah, so
in the
it comes out in the US and I think Canada on the 10th of November. So it'll be on, you know, iTunes and Fandango and
everything.
everything,
Fantastic.
all of
Good.
that stuff. So yes, it'll be out and there for people to enjoy and discover and watch, which is really exciting. I'm very keen to see what American audiences think of a very potty-mouthed Irish kind of humor.
I think people are really going to really want to get into it, honestly. So I wanted to ask you, because this season on our podcast is actually all about chosen family films.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you if there was a film growing up, and it doesn't have to be a film about queer anything, just a film about chosen family that really resonated with you, if there is one that you can recall.
Yeah, I mean, a film that I loved and I saw it kind of later in the 90s, even though it came out, I think 95 actually, was But I'm a Cheerleader, which I just adore, like I absolutely adore that film. And I think the reason that really struck a chord with me was because it was these gay kids, you know, navigating this kind of weird therapy and becoming a chosen family. But it was one of the first times I saw queer characters with comedy and with humor and with the absurdity that these kids deserve as much as anybody else. And so I think that film always is really important to me. Another film which I think anybody of my generation adores, even if it's not a good film, is Empire Records.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
like, you know, it's just like, I think I don't, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's Citizen Kane, and I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's like I rewatched it recently, and
That
like,
is chosen family, though, for sure. I mean,
oh, it's
they are a
oh my god,
family.
yeah.
Yes.
Like, we all wanted to work there. Like, I really wished like I had crappy parents and I could work in Empire Records, you know.
Yes,
Uh,
me too.
yeah, no, I just love that film. And I think it's so, because I was thinking, because I watched it again recently, and it's so like, it's so good. And I get that it's not, you know, I get like it got mauled by critics when it came out,
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
it failed as well. But like then it got this massive audience. But it's just so good. It's like the teen fantasy film that everyone wants, and it just encapsulates so much. So yeah, that film, yeah, is that's the chosen family I want.
Yeah, honestly, critics I don't think understand chosen family films. I don't know,
No.
most of them probably just I know because, this is like just funny. I was looking at Practical Magic the other day because again, October just and that to me is very chosen family feeling in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like it's like 40. I'm like, what is it's like a green tomato? I'm like, that should be red
yeah.
and ripe and not.
No, exactly. I was going on Rotten the other week just out of
Mm.
curiosity, because I'd mentioned it in a different interview, and But I'm a Cheerleader got destroyed when it came
Oh
out,
yes.
and
Um, it,
it.
I know.
But I love that film, and a
Mm.
lot of the criticism it seemed to have gotten was people going, "But this isn't the queers we said is allowed. Like this isn't the queer story we like." And it was like straight critics trying to determine what should be a gay, like a queer film. And
Mm.
that really bugged me. It was like, well, this isn't Oscar bait, and this, they aren't depressed monks or whatever. Like, that really bugged me. But yeah, I think you're right. I think sometimes those people who are deigned to be in that position just don't get those films. They don't get things like Empire Records or why that appeals to young people, or that idea, that fantasy land of working in a record store and
Yeah,
having like, it's just amazing. I was actually thinking recently, it's so weird that film could never be remade because record stores just don't exist anymore. And because I
true.
was thinking, I was like, why hasn't this been remade? Some studio must be trying. I was like, where do you set that out? Like where?
I know the only thing I can think of is like an Apple store, but like even then, like it just changes the whole thing so much.
You know what? They'll probably try and remake it in an Apple store, and God help them.
And no one's gonna want to watch it.
No,
No, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I'm
thank
so
you.
happy to have you on this podcast. One last thing I really want to say to you is that when we were talking about the film, us the hosts on the show, is that it really did, just to bring it back. One last thing about Dating Amber, the parents was done so well. I mean, like I will be so forward in saying like Boy Erased and like Love Simon. I know people like Love Simon, but these parents are not believe. I don't believe it. And this film, I believed it. And one other film, and he was also gay who made that film, The Giant Little Ones. I don't know if you ever saw that, but that too had good parents. And I'm like,
Yeah,
it's because the director's seat is given to someone who knows. They're
yeah. I mean, thank you. I mean, I think I had. I mean, firstly, our casts are amazing, but I
Mhm.
think they're very much so based on my parents, and I think you
Mm.
see that kind of. There's such nuance in those roles that I think people very often don't get, and don't unless they've lived that experience. But yeah, I mean, it was a joy to work with Barry Ward and Sharon Horgan, who's my icon. So I mean, it was amazing. But and
That's
they,
always fun.
yeah, the one scene always, there's a scene where Sharon Horgan and is kind of trying to gently coax Eddie to come out to her. And it's this one scene in the film that always makes me cry because it's really based on a scene between me and my mum. And I couldn't even on set, I couldn't hold it in. It was just too emotional for me. It was amazing. But yeah, it was fun.
That's how you know you're doing it right.
Yeah. Okay.
And is there, I guess, another really quick last thing I want to ask you, is there any upcoming projects that you're surfacing or
Yeah. I mean, I've got a few TV projects in development, which I'm really excited about. I can't like
perfect?
go into them, but I'm really excited to explore the world of television, and I have longer to do things. And then I have another a revenge film called Epping that we're hopefully making next year in the UK, which I'm really excited about. Which again centers a queer character, but it's a revenge film. And yeah,
Ooh,
I mean, I've
I
got a
love
few things I'm
revenge.
really excited about. But I think for me, it will all have gay characters and queer characters in them, no matter what it is. But yeah, I'm excited to get back on a set because I'm itchy.
Well, I hope that will be very soon for you. I really do. Thank you, David, again for being here.
Thank you
And I
so much.
can't wait for all of our listeners to watch Dating Amber on November 10th everywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, David.